Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about patch 8.3. Today, Blizzard released a preview video for patch 8.3, and in this video I'm going to kind of break down pretty much everything that was talked about by Ian, and because everything was pretty much meaningful. I took some notes, so if you see me glancing down, I'm just looking at the notes. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is assaults. So obviously you probably know what assaults are. It started basically in Legion, I believe, with the Legion assaults, which you can still do to this day, especially if you're leveling an alt, and of course the assaults that happened during BFA as well. So we're going to have more assaults happening. I assume that they will work in the same way. They said that they basically used all the things people like, added new things, tried to fine-tune the idea of assaults in a way. And what we're going to be assaulting are these Titan facilities, or what's being assaulted are these Titan facilities by Azeroth and his corruption and the old god corruptions. They gave two examples. I don't know if there's more than two, but in the video they gave two examples, and those are in Oldham and Vale of Eternal Blossoms. So I love the Zone of Oldham, first of all, so I really like that. I know a lot of people like Pandaria, even though I don't, so maybe you'll like that. What's big about the Vale of Eternal Blossoms one is that it is restored. So if you've been there recently, or remember Pandaria, Mr. Pandaria, it got corrupted with all the black stuff everywhere on the ground. And it is now restored back to its normal beauty and splendor, except for when it's under assault. You repel the assault, it goes back to being, a nice, clear place, I guess you could say. So that's about all the information we got on assaults. It's just a standard thing. You might not be super excited about it unless you like the old assaults, but it's basically just a new version of assaults. The next thing is something I'm super excited about, and it's called and it's literally like the patch name, Visions of Azeroth. So in the Visions of Azeroth, this is basically Deaths of Chromie 2.0. Now, not a ton of people did Deaths of Chromie, unfortunately. This is one of my favorite things I've ever done in World of Warcraft. I made an extremely detailed video on this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look up my video on Deaths of Chromie and go complete it. It is really cool. Obviously, it'll probably be a lot. No, you get your level knocked down, so it should be the same difficulty no matter what. Very, very cool solo player experience. Now, this is 1 to 5 players experience instead of only solo, and the stuff scales accordingly. Doesn't matter if you have a tank or a healer or anything like that. It just scales based on the number of players you have in there. And this is really cool. So basically, in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, I'm assuming it's faction based, your city will be looking like it's corrupted, and it's a vision. Okay, so you're going through the city as if it was completely corrupted by Azeroth, and at first you're going to fail miserably, most likely, and you're not going to even know what the hell to do, and you're going to fail, and then you're probably going to get like a fragment. You can collect these fragments to basically get talent points, and these talent points will make you stronger every time you go in. That's the whole premise behind Deaths of Chromie, was that each day you'd get a little bit stronger until you could complete it. So the thing everyone was trying to do was trying to complete it as fast as possible with as little talents as possible. And once you get all the talents, once you get fully upgraded, then it becomes a lot easier if you're someone who just wants to take it slow. The other thing you can do here is you can also, I mentioned the fragments. So you get these fragments. It didn't really say how you get the fragments. You turn those into Magni Mother. Those will give you like talent points. Just think of a separate little talent tree that's only for the visions. Also, Raytheon will be helping us get a legendary cloak, and this cloak will have benefits in these visions as well as I'm sure it'll just be a wearable, usable cloak for the game as well. The next thing let's talk about the raid, Nyalotha. This is a 12 boss raid with Azeroth as the last boss. So recently there was a leak, or a supposed leak, about the last boss being Sylvanas versus Anduin. That appears to be false based on this. We don't know that for sure. It could, who knows what could happen really, but the last boss of this raid is Azeroth, so it'll be interesting to see what unfolds after that, and maybe parts of the story could be true. But and we also know from the visions that the screenshots were likely the vision of Stormwind that you will be and that they just happen to be in the docks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look up a leak for the next X pack about Shadowlands, and that still could be the next X pack. But it seems that a lot of things in that leak were ended up not being true because of knowing that the last boss of Battle for Azeroth is indeed Enzoth. So the next thing, just quickly, is we'll talk about the Heart of Azeroth. Heart of Azeroth, of course, we're going to have to level it up some more. I know everybody hates that. I don't love it myself. There will be a new essence slot, and there'll be new essences available to you. Not just, and there's new essences from the new content, and then there's also there'll be new essences from the new Mythic Plus season and from the new PvP season and stuff like that as well. I don't know if they'll be stronger, similar, just different. You know, they didn't get into the specifics of it, but those will be that'll be the changes to the Heart of Azeroth basically. Here's a big one for a lot of people. It doesn't really bother me either way. I'm kind of indifferent on it. But they're going to, at least at some point, probably remove Titan Forging. So a lot of the community hates Titan Forging, which I completely get. You have the high-end players who kind of hate it because they're working for their gear and someone else is getting a Titan Forge piece and it's better than their piece that they had to work really hard for. And then some people, and probably because of that mentality, and it's called welfare gear, which I don't like that term. But so other players who get it that are not high-end players might feel like they didn't earn it themselves. So there's two sides of the coin that don't like it. I think it comes from the same side, but there's two sides of the people that don't like it. They are going to replace it, though, with something that he called Twisted and Corrupt. However, he did make sure to put out that whatever they replace it with, it's going to make item levels still matter, like as far as that goes. So it's not going to be, oh, I got this Titan Forge piece and it's way better than my Mythic gear. I think they're just going to kind of change. It's going to do something else to it, okay? I don't know if it's going to put like a fix on it or what it's going to do, but they're going to kind of change how Titan Forging works. Maybe it'll be more based around like Leech and all Avoidance and those extra stat speed. Who knows? We'll see where that goes. There's also another thing I'm super excited about is 2 new allied races. Obviously, I'm only personally excited for one because I'm only going to be able to play one, at least at the moment. And we have the Volpera for the Horde. So those are the cute little foxes that you can see in Vol'dun everywhere. And then you will have the Mechanomes for the Alliance. I don't think he mentioned what the rep requirement would be for the Volpera. I assume there probably is one because there's one for the Mechanomes. You have to be exalted with the Rust Bolt resistance to start that, and then you'll be able to unlock the Mechanomes. I do not believe he mentioned exactly how to unlock the Volpera, but it might just be the Honor Bound or something like that. Unless he did mention it, I didn't catch it, but I watched it twice. And kind of grouping in with allied races, I'll mention the Heritage Armor. There's new Heritage Armor for Goblins and for Worgen. I personally think the Heritage Armor for Goblin is a lot better. It's more fitting, I guess you could say, for an actual hero or champion, and it just kind of goes along, has rockets on it everywhere, and just kind of looks like what a goblin would wear typically, you know. For the Worgen, it is a top hat and tuxedo and like dress up type stuff, which is kind of cool and fun, but it's not necessarily goes along with being a champion or whatever. You know, you're not going to be fighting a raid boss in a top hat typically. So, but, you know, it could be really cool for role-playing or something like that. Probably the biggest change in this whole thing, put at the very end, maybe for a reason put at the end because it is the biggest, is the auction house is finally getting redone. So not only do we have a new user interface, rescan, whatever you want to call it, but it's been basically completely rebuilt.
Next time.
One of the main things that most people like to hear is they got rid of single stacks. Not that you can't still put something in at one stack, but when you search for items, there won't just be a million single stacks that you have to go through. So of course you can still put in a single stack yourself as a seller, but as a buyer, you don't have to deal with that anymore. It's more faster, it's more efficient. That's their biggest goal, was to make it faster and more efficient. At the launch of the BFA, the auction houses were just crashing basically. And here's a huge thing, is there's now a commodities market.
We're good here.
So let's say I put in a stack of 200 ore, and somebody only needs 15 of that ore, and I have the best price. They can now buy 15 ore out of my stack.
Got some hellstones over here. If you didn't
at the price per unit that it would be set at. And then
I can see that.
Someone else buys 100 of it, someone else buys 50 of it. So that's 165. So then I would have 35 ore left in the auction house. That doesn't sell. I get that back in the mail, plus my gold from selling the 165. So people can buy parts of your stack.
We're good here.
As a seller, again, I don't have to worry about anything about that. I just put in my 200 ore, my max stack. Everyone else can buy what they want to buy out of that. I personally like that. It's maybe a little bit lazy or something, but when it comes to auction house, I'm not looking to do a ton of work.
I think you have.
Another thing I have written down here is you can have favorites now. You can click items like favorites, like items that you're searching for, and like a shopping list kind of feature.
Beware.
And that'll help you search for items that you're trying to, like, let's say you're trying to farm an old
We're good here. In between moon and square.
You know, materials to craft it, whether that's like arcanite bars, whatever, and you don't want to forget about it, you can favorite it, you can have like this little list that you pop up. It's just a little side feature, but I thought it was kind of nice. And then the last thing I'll talk about, and I won't mention it too much because I'll probably do a separate video on this completely, is we have the new Mythic Plus Season Fix revealed. Not exactly what it does, I guess, but in specifics of like mechanics and stuff, but we do know what it is, and it's the Corrupted Affix. So in general what this is during Mythic Plus, with the Corrupted Affix, you'll see a kind of a void portal, right? And when you click on the void portal, you can go into it. Now you're like in the void.
We're good here.
Region or Old God region, whatever. And you can now fight like a little mini boss.
We're good.
And I'm guessing like the different mini bosses will have different mechanics and stuff like that. And then you kill that, and now you can click on any other void to come out of the void. So you could actually skip mobs. So let's say there's a mob right in front of the void. Those mobs don't see you or interact with you. Only the stuff in the void can interact with you. So you could actually walk right through those mobs, and you can do skips that way. So you can plan out your skips like, oh, this whole hallway sucks.
We're good here.
Skip this hallway, we'll pull this extra crap later. And that's a way to do skips without using invisibility or without using rogues and stuff like that. He did say if you skip the portals, however, like you just try to do the Mythic Plus dungeons as normal, that those bosses from the portals might show up when you do the final boss, which could be interesting, maybe an achievement worthy, but he did mention that as well. So overall, I'm super pumped for this patch. The assaults, who cares really for that? I'll enjoy that more when I'm leveling an alt. And the Heart of Azeroth, I don't really care about leveling up my neck.
Move towards triangle, mid a little.
Everything else on here I'm pretty pumped about, and very much looking forward to it. So a lot of people think January, that's probably my best guess.
Somewhere around time.
This will roll out some mid-January, somewhere around there. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Great job by Blizzard in my opinion. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video at all, or if you just want to help me out. A lot. And other than that, everybody have a good one.